God says, "My child, I need you to slow down and listen with your heart right now. There is a reason you felt restless today. There is a reason your mind keeps returning to the same thoughts, even when you try to distract yourself. What you are feeling is not fear without meaning. It is awareness. I am gently waking your spirit before something hidden comes into the light. You have sensed it for a while now. A heaviness that comes and goes. A strange discomfort when you think about your soulmate, even when everything on the surface seems calm. Sometimes you feel drawn to pray for them without knowing why. Other times you feel an unexplained sadness, as if your soul knows something your mind does not yet understand. My child, this is not your imagination. This is discernment. There is someone very close to your soulmate who is hiding a dangerous secret. This secret is connected to his wife. It is not small. It is not harmless. And it has been carefully covered with smiles, excuses, and silence. Many people around them chose comfort over truth. They saw pieces of the reality, but they turned their faces away because it was easier not to get involved. But I do not ignore what harms my children. I want you to understand something clearly. You were never meant to be caught in this storm. That is why I have been pulling you back at certain moments. That is why plans did not move forward when you expected them to. That is why communication felt blocked or delayed. I was not rejecting you. I was protecting you. You may have questioned yourself. You may have wondered if you were overthinking, if you were being too sensitive, if you were the problem. My child, you were not wrong. You were early. You were feeling the truth before it was safe for you to see it fully. Your soulmate has been living inside confusion. There have been days when he could not explain his exhaustion. Nights when sleep did not bring rest. Moments when he felt trapped but did not know how to name what was wrong. The environment around him has not been honest. Love was mixed with control. Words were mixed with manipulation. And silence was used as a weapon. There is a person close to him who knows much more than they admit. They saw warning signs. They heard conversations that did not sit right. They noticed behaviors that did not align with the image being presented. Yet they chose to stay quiet. Some out of fear. Some out of loyalty. Some because the truth would have disrupted too many lives at once. But my child, truth cannot stay buried forever. I have been preparing you slowly because what is coming would have shaken you deeply if you were not strengthened first. That is why I worked on your patience. That is why I taught you to sit with uncertainty. That is why I helped you detach emotionally without fully understanding why. I was building spiritual distance so your heart would not break under the weight of what you are about to learn. You are not losing anything right now. You are being spared. I need you to hear this carefully. The secret surrounding his wife is not just about dishonesty. It involves intention. It involves actions taken in the dark that could have caused serious harm if they continued unchecked. This is why your spirit felt alarmed instead of simply sad. Your soul recognized danger before your mind could label it. You may remember moments when you felt suddenly uneasy after hearing something about their marriage. Or times when your energy dropped after interacting with them. Those were not random feelings. That was your inner warning system responding to what was hidden. Your soulmate has tried to keep peace by ignoring his own discomfort. He convinced himself that endurance was love. That silence was strength. That questioning meant betrayal. But deep inside, he has been breaking. And the people who should have protected him did not speak up. I am stepping in now. You might ask why I allowed this to go on for so long. My child, timing matters. Exposure too early would not have saved anyone. It would have caused chaos without clarity. I waited until enough pieces were in place, until the truth could stand on its own without being twisted or denied. Right now, you may feel like you are standing at the edge of something unknown. You feel the shift, but you do not yet see the full picture. That is okay. You are not meant to act. You are meant to stay grounded. Do not confront. Do not accuse. Do not investigate on your own. This is not your battle to fight. I did not awaken your spirit so you could carry this burden. I awakened you so you would not be confused when the truth begins to surface. Very soon, things that were whispered will be spoken clearly. Patterns will connect. Stories will fall apart. People who defended lies will struggle to explain themselves. And many will be shocked, not because the truth is new, but because they chose not to see it before. Your soulmate will go through a moment of deep realization. It will hurt. There will be grief, anger, and disbelief. But there will also be relief. Because finally, the fog will lift. And when it does, he will understand why nothing ever felt fully right. I need you to remain calm when that moment comes. Your role is not to rescue. Your role is not to fix. Your role is to remain steady, protected, and emotionally clear. The more peaceful you stay, the more you will see how carefully I have been guiding you all along. You may feel compassion for him, and that is natural. But do not absorb his pain as your responsibility. I am working on him separately. Just as I am working on those who hid the truth. Justice does not always look loud. Sometimes it looks like exposure that no one can deny. Remember this, my child. When something dangerous is hidden, it creates tension in the spirit long before it is revealed in the physical world. That tension you felt was not meant to scare you. It was meant to prepare you. You are safe. You are seen. And you are exactly where you need to be. Stay close to me. Keep your heart soft, but your boundaries strong. What is coming will make sense soon. And when it does, you will realize that every delay, every unanswered question, every moment of emotional distance was part of my protection over you. Be still. Trust me. The truth is already moving toward the light. My child, take a deep breath and stay with me. I know your heart feels heavy as the truth begins to unfold layer by layer. What I am about to help you understand now is not meant to scare you, but to free you from confusion. I am not revealing this to hurt you or your soulmate. I am revealing it because darkness loses its power when it is seen clearly. The marriage you observed from a distance was never as stable as it appeared. On the outside, there were smiles, routines, shared spaces, and familiar roles. People assumed everything was normal because it looked normal. But inside those walls, something else was growing, quietly, slowly, and dangerously. His wife learned how to hide behind appearances. She mastered the art of looking calm while creating chaos underneath. She spoke softly in public but controlled strongly in private. She knew how to shift blame, how to confuse, how to make others question their own memories and feelings. Over time, this behavior became a pattern, not an accident. Your soulmate often felt like he was walking on invisible broken glass. He could not explain why he felt anxious in his own home. He felt drained after conversations that seemed simple. He doubted his own thoughts. He questioned his own reactions. My child, that is what manipulation does. It makes a strong person feel weak without ever raising a voice. There were moments when he sensed something was deeply wrong, but every time he tried to speak, he was made to feel guilty. He was told he was imagining things. He was told he was too sensitive. He was told that peace required silence. Slowly, he began to shut down parts of himself just to survive. And there were people close to him who noticed. They saw how his energy changed. They saw how he stopped laughing the same way. They noticed how careful he became with his words. They sensed tension during moments that should have been joyful. Some of them even heard arguments or witnessed behavior that crossed lines. Yet they chose not to say anything. Not because they did not care, but because the truth felt too dangerous to touch. They feared breaking the family image. They feared being blamed. They feared losing access, connection, or comfort. And so they stayed quiet, telling themselves it was not their place. But silence does not stay neutral forever. Silence always sides with whatever is causing harm. My child, I want you to understand something important here. This was not your responsibility to see earlier. You were kept at a distance for a reason. Had you been closer, you would have felt confused, pulled into emotional patterns that were not meant for you. I kept you outside of this environment so your clarity would remain intact. The secret surrounding his wife was not only about dishonesty, it was about control. Control of narratives. Control of emotions. Control of how others perceived reality. Over time, this control became more aggressive, more risky. Decisions were made that could have caused serious consequences if they continued unchecked. Your spirit sensed danger because danger was present. You may remember moments when you felt sudden resistance when thinking about getting closer to him. Moments when something inside you said, "Wait." That was me. I was not closing a door forever. I was asking you to pause while I handled what you could not see. Your soulmate did not understand why he felt so torn. Part of him still believed in commitment, in loyalty, in trying harder. Another part of him felt like he was disappearing. He prayed silently without knowing how to ask for help. He asked himself why love felt like pressure instead of safety. The truth is, love cannot survive where fear is used as a tool. His wife built a reality where she appeared innocent while subtly positioning herself as the victim. Any challenge to her behavior was turned into an attack against her character. This made it nearly impossible for him to speak freely. And when someone feels trapped long enough, they begin to doubt their own worth. But my child, I never stopped watching. Every tear that fell in private. Every moment of self-blame. Every time he chose silence instead of conflict. I saw it all. And I was already preparing the exposure of what was hidden. You might wonder why those close to him stayed silent for so long. Understand this. When manipulation spreads, it does not only affect the direct victim. It confuses the entire environment. People begin to normalize what should never be normal. They excuse what should be questioned. They protect what should be corrected. But truth has a weight that cannot be carried forever. Cracks have already begun to show. Small inconsistencies. Emotional reactions that do not match the situation. Stories that change slightly each time they are told. People are starting to feel uncomfortable defending what they once ignored. And when discomfort grows, silence becomes impossible. This is why I asked you to remain calm. This is why I told you not to confront anyone. You do not need to force clarity. Clarity is coming on its own. Your role right now is simply to stay emotionally clean. Do not take sides. Do not judge. Do not internalize guilt that does not belong to you. You are not here to fix a broken system. You are here to walk in truth when it finally stands exposed. Soon, your soulmate will begin to connect dots that once felt scattered. He will remember moments he dismissed. He will replay conversations with new understanding. And when realization hits, it will feel overwhelming. But it will also feel honest. This is where your steadiness will matter. Not your words. Not your advice. Your calm presence. I am not asking you to carry his healing. I am asking you to trust that I am handling it. Your compassion can exist without self-sacrifice. Your love can exist without losing yourself. What was hidden is losing its power. The image that fooled many will no longer be able to stand. And those who stayed silent will have to face the truth they avoided. Remember, my child, you were never late. You were never blind. You were protected. Stay close to me. The next stage will bring shock, but it will also bring release. And when everything becomes clear, you will understand why I kept guiding you step by step, even when you did not see the full path. The truth is moving. And nothing can stop it now. My child, stay with me. I know your heart feels tense as the truth comes closer to the surface. This part of the journey is uncomfortable, because now what was hidden begins to breathe in the open air. I want you to listen calmly, without fear, because I am in control of everything that is unfolding. There is a dangerous secret that no one wanted to say out loud. It was not spoken because it would have changed too much, too fast. It would have forced people to choose sides. It would have broken the image everyone worked so hard to maintain. So instead of truth, they chose delay. Instead of honesty, they chose silence. But silence does not erase danger. It only gives it time. Someone very close to your soulmate knew the depth of what was happening. They were not guessing. They were not confused. They saw behavior that crossed lines. They witnessed moments that made them uneasy. They heard words that revealed intention, not just emotion. And yet, they stayed quiet. This person told themselves they were protecting the family. They told themselves it was not their responsibility. They told themselves that speaking up would only make things worse. But deep down, they knew the truth. They felt it in their conscience. They felt it when they could not sleep. They felt it when they avoided your soulmate's eyes. The secret surrounding his wife was not only about control or manipulation. It went deeper. It involved calculated actions, private decisions, and a willingness to risk others' well-being to maintain power. This is why your spirit reacted so strongly. This is why you felt alarm instead of simple sadness. There were plans made that did not consider consequences. There were lines crossed that cannot be undone by apologies alone. And there were moments when intervention should have happened, but did not. Your soulmate sensed danger without understanding it fully. That is why he became more cautious. That is why he felt on edge without knowing why. His body reacted before his mind could process the reality. Fear lived in the air, even when no one named it. I want you to understand something important, my child. When someone lives under constant manipulation, their sense of reality becomes blurred. They start to accept things that once felt unacceptable. They begin to normalize behavior that is harmful. And those around them slowly adjust as well, until the abnormal feels normal. But truth disrupts false peace. The person who stayed silent believed they could manage the situation quietly. They believed they could prevent exposure while still keeping things under control. But what they did not understand is this: dangerous secrets grow stronger when they are protected. I allowed time to pass not because I approved of what was happening, but because exposure requires foundation. Evidence. Patterns. Witnesses. When truth finally comes out, it must be strong enough to stand against denial. That time has now come. Things have already begun to shift behind the scenes. Conversations are being remembered differently. Details are no longer lining up. The same stories are being questioned. People are starting to feel uneasy defending behavior they once excused. The weight of what they know is becoming too heavy to carry. Your soulmate will soon realize that his discomfort was not weakness. It was awareness. His exhaustion was not failure. It was a response to sustained emotional danger. And his confusion was not lack of clarity, it was the result of living in an environment built on distortion. When realization comes, it will feel like the ground moving beneath him. He will replay moments and see them with new eyes. He will recognize patterns he once ignored. And he will feel both grief and anger, for what was done, and for how long it was allowed to continue. This is where you must remain grounded. Do not rush to explain anything. Do not push for answers. Let truth speak for itself. Exposure does not need assistance. It only needs time and light. You may feel the urge to step in, to protect, to comfort deeply. Compassion is good. But do not place yourself in the center of this storm. This is not your chaos to resolve. You are not meant to absorb pain that does not belong to you. I am dismantling what was built on fear and secrecy. The dangerous part of this secret is not only what was done, but how many people were willing to pretend it was not happening. That realization will shake many. Some will feel guilt. Some will feel shame. Some will try to rewrite the story. But truth does not bend to comfort. What is coming will shock those who believed appearances. It will silence those who defended lies. And it will free those who were trapped inside confusion. You were kept separate because your role is different. You are not a witness of the past. You are part of what comes after. That is why I protected your heart. That is why I guarded your timing. That is why I asked you to wait when you wanted to move forward. Stay still now. Let the unraveling happen. I am close. I am watching. And nothing that was hidden will remain in the dark. The truth is no longer waiting. It is rising. My child, this is the moment when everything changes. What was hidden can no longer hold itself together. The truth does not arrive gently this time. It arrives suddenly, breaking the silence that protected it for so long. And when it happens, many will be left without words. The exposure does not come from anger. It does not come from revenge. It comes from collapse. Lies always collapse under their own weight. The story that was carefully managed begins to fall apart because too many cracks are visible now. Too many people have noticed the same inconsistencies. Too many questions no longer have believable answers. When the truth about his wife begins to surface, it shocks everyone, not because the signs were never there, but because they were ignored for too long. People who once defended her behavior suddenly grow quiet. Conversations stop mid-sentence. Faces change. The atmosphere shifts. What comes out cannot be explained away. The dangerous secret is revealed in pieces at first. One detail leads to another. One witness speaks, and another remembers. The silence that once protected her now turns into pressure. Those who knew but stayed quiet feel exposed as well, because their silence becomes part of the story. Your soulmate feels it before he fully understands it. His body reacts first. A heavy drop in the chest. A sudden clarity that makes his heart race. The moment he realizes that what he feared was real, and that it was worse than he imagined, everything inside him pauses. There is shock. There is disbelief. And then there is grief. He grieves the time he lost. He grieves the version of love he thought he had. He grieves the trust he gave so freely. And he grieves the fact that the people around him failed to protect him when he was most vulnerable. But along with pain, something else rises. Relief. For the first time in a long time, he understands that he was not imagining things. He was not weak. He was not wrong. The confusion lifts, and in its place comes painful clarity, but clarity nonetheless. The wife can no longer maintain the image she built. The calm mask slips. Reactions become defensive. Stories shift too quickly. Emotions do not match the situation. And people see it. What once seemed believable now feels forced. Those close to her are stunned. Some feel betrayed. Some feel ashamed for staying silent. Some feel afraid of what this means for their own choices. But none of them can deny what is now visible. The truth spreads quickly, not as gossip, but as realization. People connect moments they once dismissed. They replay past interactions and see them differently. The puzzle finally forms a picture that cannot be ignored. Your soulmate reaches a breaking point. There may be tears he never allowed himself to shed before. There may be anger that surprises even him. There may be moments of silence where he simply stares, trying to accept that his life has just shifted in a way he did not choose. And through it all, my child, I am holding him. I am also holding you. This is why I told you to remain calm. This is why I asked you not to interfere. You were not meant to be caught in the explosion. You were meant to be standing in safety, watching truth do what it always does, set things right, even when it hurts. You may feel emotional waves during this time. Sadness for him. Anger toward those who hid the truth. Confusion about what happens next. All of that is natural. But do not let these emotions pull you into chaos. You are not responsible for fixing what broke. Your soulmate will begin to withdraw, not because he is shutting down, but because he is processing. He needs space to breathe without pressure, without control, without lies. He needs time to separate his identity from the environment that shaped his pain. People will talk. Some will choose sides. Some will rewrite the past to protect themselves. Some will finally admit what they knew. Let them. Truth does not require your defense. What matters is that what was dangerous has been exposed. What could have caused deeper harm has been stopped. And what was built on deception is no longer controlling the future. This moment feels intense, but it is necessary. Destruction is not always evil. Sometimes it is mercy. I am clearing what could not be healed quietly. I am removing what refused to change. And I am making room for something honest to exist. Stay close to me now. Speak only when led. Rest when your heart feels heavy. Do not rush the next step. There is still healing to come. The shock will settle. The noise will fade. And when it does, you will see why this exposure had to happen exactly this way, at exactly this time. What comes next will be gentler. And it will be real. My child, come closer and breathe with me for a moment. The storm has passed its loudest point now. What remains is quiet, not the empty kind of silence that once hid danger, but a calm space where healing can finally begin. This is the part of the journey where understanding settles into your heart and you realize why everything unfolded the way it did. What was exposed could not be undone, but it could be released. The truth did its work. It broke what was built on fear, control, and secrecy. And now, everyone involved must face the reality that was delayed for so long. This is not punishment. This is alignment. Your soulmate is no longer trapped in confusion. The shock has softened into awareness. He understands now that the pain he carried was never his weakness. It was the result of staying too long in an environment that slowly drained him. And as difficult as this awakening is, it has given him something precious: clarity. There will be moments when he feels grief for what he hoped the marriage would become. There will be moments when anger returns, when questions repeat themselves in his mind. Healing is not straight. It moves in waves. But with each wave, he becomes more grounded in truth instead of fear. And you, my child, have been kept safe through it all. You were not pulled into this situation to be hurt. You were not meant to compete with deception or suffer in silence. I placed distance where it was needed. I delayed what felt urgent. I closed doors that would have caused you pain. Every time you felt held back, it was my protection, not rejection. Now you can see it. The role you play in this story was never to save him. It was to remain whole yourself. To stay clear-minded. To stay emotionally available without being consumed. That is why you were strengthened quietly while chaos unfolded elsewhere. As the noise fades, your soulmate will begin to see you differently. Not as an escape. Not as a rescuer. But as peace. As honesty. As something real that was not mixed with fear or manipulation. And that realization will come naturally, without pressure. Do not rush this moment. Let healing happen at its own pace. Let trust rebuild slowly. Let conversations come when they are ready. What begins in truth must be allowed to grow in truth. There will be people who regret their silence. Some will apologize. Some will stay distant, unable to face what they avoided. That is their journey, not yours. You are not required to carry their guilt or justify your peace. I want you to remember this clearly: when I remove something from your path, it is because it could not walk with you into your future. The exposure you witnessed was not meant to scar you. It was meant to protect the destiny that still lies ahead. You may feel lighter now, even if you cannot explain why. You may feel a sense of closure where there were once questions. That is my peace settling in you. What comes next will not be built on secrets. It will not require you to doubt your instincts or silence your voice. It will feel steady, even when it grows slowly. And you will recognize it not by intensity, but by safety. I am blessing this new beginning. I am restoring what was drained from you. I am healing what confusion tried to damage. I am protecting what is meant to last. Do not look back at what collapsed. It served its purpose by ending. Look forward with trust. What remains is not loss, it is freedom. You are not behind. You are not forgotten. You are exactly on time. Walk forward with confidence, my child. I am with you. My child, stay with me a little longer. I know you thought the journey had reached its end, but sometimes healing needs one more deep breath. This is not a continuation of pain. This is the settling of your soul. This is where everything you went through finally finds meaning. You have walked through uncertainty with quiet strength. You held questions without forcing answers. You trusted even when clarity came slowly. Many people would have lost themselves in confusion, but you did not. And I want you to know why. It is because I was holding you the entire time. Now that the truth has come out and the noise has begun to fade, you may feel an unusual stillness. At first, it may feel unfamiliar. When chaos ends, silence can feel strange. But this stillness is not emptiness. It is safety. It is your nervous system learning that danger has passed. Let yourself rest here. For a long time, your heart stayed alert without realizing it. Even when you smiled, part of you was watching, waiting, sensing. That kind of awareness is tiring. So if you feel emotionally exhausted now, that is normal. You are not weak. You are releasing what you carried quietly for too long. I am asking you now to let go. Let go of the need to understand every detail. Let go of the desire to replay conversations. Let go of the questions that no longer serve you. What you needed to know has already been revealed. What remains is healing, not investigation. Your soulmate is also entering a new internal season. He is learning how to exist without constant tension. He is relearning what peace feels like. There will be moments when he feels lost, not because he lacks direction, but because he is no longer being controlled. Freedom can feel disorienting at first. Be patient, with him and with yourself. Do not expect instant clarity from him. Do not expect perfect words or perfect timing. Healing does not perform on demand. It unfolds naturally when safety is consistent. And consistency is something you already carry within you. You do not need to prove anything. You do not need to compete with the past. You do not need to explain why you stayed quiet. Your presence speaks louder than defense ever could. There may be days when memories resurface. Something small may remind you of the confusion you once felt. When that happens, do not judge yourself. Simply remind your heart, that chapter is over. I am safe now. Because you are. I removed what was harmful before it could attach itself to your future. I ended cycles you did not start. I exposed what would have slowly destroyed trust, confidence, and peace. That is not loss. That is rescue. You were rescued without being broken. That is important. Many people believe protection must come through pain. But sometimes, protection comes through delay. Through distance. Through unanswered questions that later reveal themselves as mercy. You were never meant to suffer to earn love. You were never meant to bleed to prove loyalty. You were never meant to shrink to keep peace. The love that is meant for you will not require self-erasure. As you move forward, pay attention to how your body responds to peace. Notice how your breath feels lighter. Notice how your thoughts slow down. Notice how you no longer feel pulled in different directions emotionally. These are signs of alignment. Alignment does not rush. Alignment does not confuse. Alignment does not manipulate. It feels steady, even when it grows slowly. You may wonder what happens next between you and your soulmate. My child, let it unfold naturally. Do not write the ending before the middle has healed. Trust that whatever is meant to grow will grow without force. If it is love, it will come with respect. If it is connection, it will come with honesty. If it is union, it will come with peace. And if something is not meant to continue, you will feel calm letting it go, not anxious holding it together. That is how you will know the difference. I want to speak directly to your heart now. You did nothing wrong by listening to your intuition. You did nothing wrong by stepping back. You did nothing wrong by choosing peace over urgency. In fact, that choice saved you. Some people confuse patience with weakness. But patience guided by wisdom is strength. You waited without becoming bitter. You stayed open without becoming naive. You hoped without abandoning discernment. That balance is rare. And because of it, your future will be different. You are stepping into a season where love will not feel like effort. Where connection will not come with anxiety. Where truth will not need to be dragged into the light because it will already be visible. This does not mean life will be perfect. It means it will be honest. And honesty brings peace. There may still be moments when others project their confusion onto you. Some may not understand why you seem calm. Some may question your choices. Let them. You do not need validation from people who did not carry your journey. You answer only to me and to the peace within you. I am proud of how you handled what you did not cause. I am proud of how you stayed soft in a situation that could have hardened you. I am proud of how you trusted my timing even when you did not understand it. Now I ask you to receive. Receive rest. Receive clarity. Receive emotional safety. Receive the future that was protected for you. Stop bracing for impact. The danger has passed. Stop waiting for bad news. The truth has already done its work. Stop doubting your worth. You were never the problem. From this point forward, let your choices come from calm, not fear. Let your love come from fullness, not longing. Let your faith come from trust, not survival. I am walking ahead of you. I am guarding what approaches you. I am removing what does not belong. You are not alone. You were never alone. And you will not be alone in what comes next. Lift your head, my child. Your path is clear. Your heart is safe. Your future is still beautiful. And I am with you, always. My child, come and sit with me one last time. Not because something is wrong, but because something is finally right. This is not the end of a painful story. This is the beginning of a settled heart. I want to seal this journey with peace, clarity, and blessing, so that when you move forward, you do so without looking back. You have crossed a line that many never cross. Not a line of drama or conflict, but a line of awareness. You now understand that not everything that feels intense is meant to last, and not everything that is quiet is weak. You have learned the difference between attachment and alignment. And that lesson will protect you for the rest of your life. For a long time, your heart lived in a state of waiting. Waiting for answers. Waiting for truth. Waiting for things to make sense. That kind of waiting can make a person tired without realizing it. So if you feel a deep need to rest now, not just sleep, but emotional rest, that is my gift to you. You no longer need to stay alert. The danger you sensed is gone. The confusion you carried has lifted. The questions that haunted you have lost their power. What remains is you, clear, whole, and grounded. I want you to understand something very important now. The events you witnessed were not meant to teach you distrust. They were meant to teach you discernment. There is a difference. Distrust closes the heart. Discernment protects it while keeping it open. You did not harden. You matured. That is rare. Your soulmate's journey is still unfolding, but it is no longer tangled with deception. He is learning how to rebuild his inner world without fear. He is learning what it feels like to breathe freely. This process will change him, not into someone bitter, but into someone honest. And honesty changes everything. If your paths continue to align, it will not be because of shared pain, but shared truth. If your paths separate, it will not feel like loss, but completion. Either way, you will not feel empty. You will feel steady. That is how I know you are healed. You may still think about the past sometimes. That is human. But notice how it no longer pulls you under. Notice how it feels distant, like a lesson rather than a wound. That is because I have closed what needed to be closed. You did not miss out on anything meant for you. You were spared from what could have broken you. Some people enter our lives to stay. Some enter to teach. Some enter to reveal what we must never accept again. Each one has a purpose. And when that purpose is complete, they must exit, no matter how confusing it feels at first. I know there were moments when you questioned me. Moments when you wondered why I allowed delays, silence, and emotional distance. I was not ignoring you. I was arranging your protection quietly. Had things moved faster, you would have been pulled into chaos. Had you known the truth earlier, you would have carried pain that was not yours. Had you acted on emotion instead of patience, you would have been blamed for destruction you did not cause. I saved you from all of that. Now, I want you to release the last traces of self-doubt. Release the thought that you were too much. Release the thought that you should have done more. Release the thought that your timing was wrong. You showed up exactly as you needed to, nothing more, nothing less. From this point on, your life will feel different in subtle but powerful ways. You will notice that you no longer chase clarity. You wait for it calmly. You no longer feel the urge to explain yourself to people who misunderstand you. You no longer feel responsible for fixing broken systems. That is growth. Your heart is entering a season where love will feel safe. Where communication will not feel like walking on eggshells. where truth will be spoken without fear of punishment. And when something feels off, you will trust yourself enough to pause without guilt. This is the reward of discernment. I am blessing your emotional boundaries now. They will not isolate you, they will protect your peace. I am blessing your intuition. It will guide you gently, not loudly. I am blessing your future relationships. They will be built on clarity, not confusion. You may still encounter people who live in denial, who hide behind appearances, who avoid truth. But they will no longer pull you in. You will recognize the patterns early, and you will choose peace without hesitation. That is freedom. Let me speak directly to your soul now. You are not late. You are not behind. You are not forgotten. Everything that needed to end has ended. Everything that needs time will take time. Everything meant for you will arrive without force. Stop preparing for loss. Stop bracing for disappointment. Stop expecting betrayal where there is none. Your nervous system can rest now. Your heart can open without fear. Your future does not carry hidden danger. I am walking with you into a calmer chapter. There will be laughter that feels easy. Conversations that feel natural. Connections that feel mutual. Love that does not demand sacrifice of self. And when challenges come, as they do in every life, you will face them from strength, not survival. I am proud of you. Proud of your patience. Proud of your restraint. Proud of your ability to listen instead of react. Proud of the way you trusted me even when the path was unclear. Now receive this final blessing. May your heart remain soft but protected. May your mind stay clear and grounded. May your relationships be honest and peaceful. May your intuition always guide you before harm arrives. May your future be built on truth, not fear. What you walked away from will never return. What was removed will never follow you. What awaits you is lighter, safer, and real. Go forward now, my child. Not cautiously, but confidently. You are not walking into the unknown. You are walking into alignment. And I am with you, today, tomorrow, and always.